I wanted to jump into a study that was done at Harvard over 75 years. So this is, they started 75 years ago, and all the results have been collated, and they found out that there is some kind of correlation between children that grew up doing chores and housework becoming more successful and having a stronger, better self-esteem.
Wow.
So from the issue of self-esteem now, I'm going to say the average Nigerian family that has become used to having helps in the house, you know, cousins to help out, and the kids are not doing that much. In my opinion, we're sort of doing them a disservice. We're not giving them that chance to build character by understanding the dignity of labor. I know how many bed sheets I use my hand to wash, like before washing machine ever came into the picture. You know, and I didn't grow up too bad, did I?
If you look at it, if you want to look at it in the real sense of it, yeah, the urban rich, right, and the classist in quotes, they understand the power of ensuring that their offspring work, because they know that if they want to build generational wealth, then the person who they are going to pass it to has to understand and be able to manage it. I mean, why would, think about royalty, even British royalty, where they will send the sons to even war zones. Why would they do that?
They have to serve.
So they don't take it for granted, really.
Why would they do that? And then you look around, you know some places, there are some schools, look at the US, there are some schools presidents come from. There are some schools the senators come from. There are some things that they get to do. There are some, when you see some, you hear them say, talk about holiday jobs, and then you see that, oh, your father has everything, but you're insisting on this. Truth be told, I don't know if you've heard that thing that they say, that a study has also proven that the children of today's poor are the future of the next generation. Because they are the ones that would think about fighting against the odds and doing better than where they came from, other than those who were bequeathed. So, you know, so yes, if you are at the point where you don't, that study, very, very on point. If you're at the point where you don't get these people to engage and use their minds, even in little things, solving puzzles, okay, there's some work, how do I manage myself to get the best out of it? It's going to be harder as they grow up to manage life.
Solving problems is one thing. However, I agree that, you know, having some kind of stuff to do, having a responsibility, I think that's the thing. Having something you are responsible for builds your character. However, responsibility for me does not always translate to just chores. There are actually other things that you can use to build a child's character. Money management, when you give the child pocket money, what does the child use it for? How does the child spend it? And then, you know, so many other things like that. And I'm saying this because some children are being abused in the name of, oh, I'm teaching you.
Okay, you mean...
Yes, like I believe...
They're being overused,
Yes, they are being abused. Don't use overuse, it is abuse. Look, there are certain things a child of a particular age should do and should not do. There are some countries, like there's some videos I saw of some Asian kids that were being shown how to mix cement. There were some Asian kids being shown how to do some electrical fittings. Look, there was one auto company that they told them to piece together a car engine. And they were doing it. That is not abuse. You are teaching the child. When I'm talking about abuse, I'm talking about the fact that, okay, now you have a 5-year-old that is saddled with responsibilities that should be for a 10-year-old.
Okay.
Or a 10-year-old that is saddled with responsibilities that should be for even someone a lot more mature. You might think, oh, yes, you're helping the child build character, but to me, it's abuse. Like, let every child have something according to their capabilities at that point. There are some children that are capable of more. When you know your child is, then you can pile it on. But there are some children that struggle, and eventually it affects them mentally. And so when you talk about this thing, for me, when it comes to parenting or raising children or teaching them right, it's all about balance, creating a balance. It is important to ensure your children are responsible adults, but it's also important to create a balance. There are many of us that didn't know how to do much for ourselves, as when we were even 12 or 14, even with all the teachings we had. But as we grew older, especially when you go to the university and you have to fend for yourself, You learn these things. In fact, the
So
things
you
you've
learn
been
them
taught.
overnight.
No, not that you learn them overnight. The things you've been
grow
taught
up. Okay.
that you did not value, that you did not really put into practice, or you were dodging, you now start using them. So some people, okay, say for example, an average person probably has never really put a meal together until they had to get that meal themselves in the university. You get to the university, your thought is, well, I'll go and buy food. Okay. But when you are buying food and your pocket money is finished, you will learn.
But I'm thinking...
So many of us had to learn by force. The things we were taught now started being used.
So the realities of 2024 are different from when we were growing up.
Fact, 1,000. And then that somebody learnt it when they were growing up. What makes you think you could not have done more if you had started learning earlier?
Yeah. Well, when they were growing up means they started learning early.
No, because now you're talking about universities. So universities now still use exits to leave the compound.
Wow.
So they are basically glorified secondary schools.
Yes.
That's what a lot of universities. I mean, how can a university student be seeking for an exit to leave the compound?
Well, that's what the school stands for.
So how does it? I mean, that is secondary.
true.
I went to boarding. So I tell people that, look, I left the house from 10.
Yeah.
It no longer became my house because from 10 I spent more time in school than at home.
Yeah.
Immediately I finished, I didn't wait. I got into school the next year, and then I stayed on campus, and then immediately after school, Lagos. So 10 years was when I left the house, and as at that point in time. But now you have people at 17, 18, 19 who are still asking for exits. Who are being told how to dress and being
Mike, that's
what to eat and all that. No, but my point generally is that
they don't want to, they shouldn't.
Yes, okay, yes, you can learn it along the way, but if you have the chance as a kid, if you can teach them, there's this Igbo man who got married to a Swiss, and they came back to Enugu, spent 1 year, and I was always wondering why. I was thinking of risk of kidnapping and all of that, and then he sent the son. This boy, is less than 10? Yes.
Yeah, I know.
The guy was taking off tires, something I cannot even do now.
Tires, yeah.
I'm not talking of changing of tires. He was, from what I saw, the guy was probably fixing the suspension. Yes, he was fixing the suspension.
What we were saying about children mixing cement and everything.
Exactly.
Even now.
These are skills that you can learn on the side.
Why do we protect and prevent our kids from certain responsibilities and activities now? So there's some. So for instance, now, if you say a child hawking on the street, I'm not saying that that's okay. I'm just saying, do you see how quickly they calculate the change you need? Do you see how quickly they know?
Street cred.
Street smart, yes.
Street smart.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
There's no way you cheat that child. It's not possible because the child is thinking about the consequences of getting home without the complete money
Mike,
when they get to their house.
My point is, there is no one size fits all for every child. What works for child A might not work for child B. Doesn't mean that every child should not know this basic knowledge. As I said, those who started cooking or cleaning up after themselves when they got to university, they would not have been able to do it well if they didn't have the background knowledge. Your mom tells you to do things, you think, oh, you are stressing me. But the time that you're going to use those skills is still coming, and then you practicalize it. Does not mean that you didn't know how to. You just try to avoid doing it.
I'm thinking about the long division these kids on the street when they're selling pepper in the market. The long division they are doing for you. I'm doing homework with my kids for hours on end.
Yeah.
My kids are not able to get it. But
exactly.
6-7-year-old is getting it like that.
Very true.
Because of what they're exposed to.
So for me, man, as much as possible, as early as you can, teach them. There was something, I think, yes, it was Piers Morgan. I wish I could play it here. I'll put it on my status, I'll put it on social media. Mike Mesquera, you see it. He said, kids these days are too soft. You go to some schools and they don't feel them. Life.
I would take out that child.
Yes.
Why won't you fail the child?
You cannot go to inter-house sports and then they are done and then you give everybody a medal. No.
When they give everybody a medal? Are you joking now?
There are schools that do it. Everybody is not a winner. No. Life will teach you. No.
You need to learn about life from school.
Everybody's a winner because you competed. No.
You failed the exam, they will now give you sweets.
You will learn so much more from failure. You will learn so much more from failing than succeeding.
We have to take a quick break, guys, but we'd love to hear your thoughts. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC and let us know. We'll be back after this.